Alrighty, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Serving Nerve, where we talk about whatever we want, and today we're actually going to be talking about antioxidants. Yes, one of the most boring sounding things one can talk about on the internet. But I kind of want to talk about antioxidants today because every time I'm on the internet, I always see somebody making some ridiculous dish to go viral on TikTok or, YouTube shorts or whatever. And I also always see people talking about diets, exercise, losing weight, getting healthy, eating healthier. And there's always a scope of different things individuals do usually to perpetuate their healthy endeavors. Some people will go low carb, some people will go vegan, some people will start fasting, do intermittent fasting, go raw vegan, do keto, do the carnivore diet, do everything. Anything that you can imagine somebody doing for a diet is probably a diet that some people do. So today I kind of wanted to talk about what my perspective is a little bit when it comes to the number one thing you probably should be doing no matter what diet you're on, and that is getting enough antioxidants. Antioxidants are super important, of course. They decrease your risks of oxidative stress. They're some of the most common components in food that people associate with decreased diseases, aging, etc. I don't know if I need to give you guys a full explanation on, how good antioxidants are for you. I just figured we would talk about where they come from, or mainly how we can get more of them, because it's super easy, and I don't know if a lot of people know about this site, because I didn't even know about this site until I started looking into antioxidants. Also, people do not know this, but there is a general recommendation for the amount of antioxidants, the measured amount of antioxidants you should be getting per day. So, generally speaking, the first thing to break down with an antioxidant is that an antioxidant is a compound that helps prevent free radicals occur in the body. You have a certain amount of antioxidants that you are supposed to be taking in every single day. It's a little bit subjective when it comes to the systems of measurement, when it comes to the ORAC measurements for antioxidants, and also, in general, what the recommendations are for antioxidants, but the general, marker is 8,000 units for women, usually on a 2,000 calorie a day diet, and 11,000 units for men that are on a 2,500 calorie a day diet. Obviously, this is a little bit variable. To kind of break it down, ORAC basically is, as I read it off, because there's no way I'm going to remember this kind of thing for a video. So I'm just going to read this little bit off, because as much as I do know a little bit about antioxidants, there's no way I'm not going to be reading this off from a general web page. ORAC stands for oxygen radical absorbance capacity, basically. And it's a method that measures the antioxidant capacity in specific foods and other, substances and stuff. We can do definitely, a video kind of, breaking down, antioxidants and all that stuff and, what they actually do in the human body or whatever. I don't really care that much, though, because you can just Google it, and honestly, you already get what I'm saying. Today, I'm not going to get super, into explaining antioxidants. I actually just want you guys to know that there's a general recommendation for antioxidant intake, and also a website that allows you to measure how many antioxidants in general you get in a day, because this is not the kind of thing that you'll oftentimes see on nutrition websites. Most of those places are always looking at a nutrient, a micronutrient, a macronutrient, something like that. But a lot of places do not actually measure the antioxidant capacities of foods and how many antioxidants you get in a day. Some I'm sure do, but a lot of them don't really focus on that, and a lot of other people don't really focus on that. People usually just focus on micro and macronutrients when it comes to losing weight, eating healthier, exercising, etc. A lot of the time we have recommendations generally for how many portions of fruits and vegetables we should be getting in a day, but we do not really have a lot of people saying, hey, you have a certain amount of antioxidant units that you should be getting in your body every single day to help prevent oxidative stress. Now, this also is kind of variable because it depends on what you're eating that is considered pro-inflammatory or what is considered anti-inflammatory. This is why when it comes to certain diets, they're more healthy or less healthy than others. It's not even just on the focus of a macro or micronutrient or maybe the exposure to specific compounds that some of these things have in them. It's a lack of antioxidants that are contained in the food that through the processes of digestion and also the, things that are contained in that food might be more pro-inflammatory than other foods. Say you have chicken that has way less antioxidants in it than, say, an apple, then you're going to want to obviously be more focused on getting more apples in your diet than chicken, in spite of chicken being considered a healthy food. But I also want to make another important point when it comes to this. People will automatically demonize chicken, hypothetically, because it doesn't have enough antioxidants. But the other thing you can do is add more antioxidant-rich foods to the chicken. If you make chicken and you cook it with a bunch of spices and stuff, which are notoriously known for being high markers for antioxidants, you have the ability to increase the overall antioxidant capacity of the food that you're eating that happens to contain chicken, which is why I'm theorizing that that's why a lot of places like, the blue zones or, people who have long population lifespans, they have a focus more so not just on the specific foods that they eat, but the antioxidants that they get in on an average basis, along with like a bunch of other things like, having a healthy gut microbiome, fiber, prebiotics, probiotics, etc. So this is something I kind of want to bring up because I don't know if people really focus on this kind of thing. I don't know if people actually consider the fact that instead of us arguing about diets and which diet's the healthiest, like, a vegan diet or a vegetarian diet or a, standard American diet or whatever, or a carnivore diet or something like that. Instead of us focusing on the micro and macronutrients of these foods, we should probably be focusing more so on the overall intake of antioxidants in general. Outside of all the other things, I think antioxidants are kind of really easily just brushed over because nobody ever thinks about the antioxidant units in food, the oxidative stress that goes into certain levels of digestion and whatnot. Also, just you existing can increase oxidative stress. Exercising is good for you, but it also increases oxidative stress. There's tons of natural biological functions in the body that create free radicals, even though some of those things are healthy to do, like exercising. But I feel like people just really easily just go oh, antioxidants, they're in fruits and vegetables and spices and stuff, and they're good for you. But I feel like in general, outside of everything else, people just don't focus on the fact that there's an antioxidant recommendation that we should be getting every day. And also, there's a measurable system for antioxidants. It's a little bit, a little bit of a weird system, but it works. It works enough for you to know, hey, I am getting a good amount of antioxidants in my diet every day, and it's not even that hard to do. The reality is, just a lot of people aren't aware of the system that is put in place that measures the antioxidant capacity of foods. So we don't really think about how many antioxidants we need in a day. We just go, oh, yeah, there's antioxidants in this thing, and I'm getting enough, which isn't really that accurate if you're not eating the right foods. This is another reason why people promote things like eating the rainbow, getting a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, eating a lot of plant-based things, because that's where a lot of antioxidants are. But yeah, so today I'm actually going to go through this ORAC value system and just explain a little bit about it, and then hopefully you guys can use it to better your health if you find that your health is a focus in your life. I'm also not trying to say that this system is perfect because it isn't. The weights of food are kind of measured alongside antioxidants. So you can have something like 100 grams of cloves with a really high antioxidant capacity measured against 100 grams of chicken. But then when you look at it, trying to eat 100 grams of cloves is a nightmare and it's not a smart thing to do. So there's obviously some variability here that people don't tend to focus on when they're looking at the overall antioxidant capacities of food, and also the Superfoodly website or, just the ORAC in general and all that stuff. But it is a good idea, a general marker to help perpetuate your ability to get more antioxidants in your diet without even trying. So I do recommend actually using this website, and we're going to go through a little bit of it right now. So kind of going into this is the website. It's just the ORAC values, antioxidant values of foods and beverages. It's on superfoodly.com. It's really easy to find. You can just Google it. I know nutritionfacts.org is also a big promoter of this kind of content. So if you want to check out that website, it's also good to understand that there's antioxidants in food. Plant-based is great. Being a plant-based eater is great. But nutritionfacts.org particularly does have biases towards more vegan eating. The creator of nutritionfacts.org is a vegan. He does have his biases. He does cherry pick some studies, but the overall information in the content that is perpetuated is still pretty good. So I personally still think it's a good resource. You just have to be aware that there is a potential bias there. But kind of going into this, you can tell throughout this sequence that there's all these antioxidants that you can find in certain foods. So, there's dragon's blood, all these supplements, powders, coffee, cherry. So some of these things we don't really have access to as a general population. But then you can kind of go down rosemary, spice, dried. There's over 165,000 units of antioxidants in rosemary. Now the problem is, this is measured by weight. So you can check it out and be like, hey, there's 165,000 units of antioxidants in rosemary, but you have to eat 100 grams of rosemary to be able to get that antioxidant capacity. But hypothetically, if you eat 1 gram, that's still a lot of antioxidants. Now, the recommendation probably also would be to keep on eating antioxidant-rich foods throughout the day and not just eat one antioxidant-rich thing at one point in a day. Because as soon as that process of digestion is over, or you don't have antioxidants running through your body again, you're going to have an increased risk for like inflammation, oxidative stress, free radicals, etc. So this is why you probably want to be getting things like spices consistently throughout the day. Now, you can find that there are a lot of things that have a ton of antioxidants in them. The things that I see commonly are like berries, spices, and usually like those two things are like really, really high in antioxidants. But if you look at something like chicken, it's like way lower on the antioxidant scale. So like fried chicken with skin frozen, it's got 50 units of antioxidants in it for 100 grams. So obviously it's not going to compare well to something like rosemary. Hypothetically, you can make it a really high antioxidant like meal in general if you combined the two. So this is why I'm trying to like perpetuate. I'm not here to just tell people like, hey, you should never eat chicken ever again. I'm just saying that there is a way to increase your overall antioxidant intake in your diet, and a lot of it does have to do with getting in antioxidants throughout your day, no matter what else you're eating throughout the day. There are also potentially harmful compounds in certain foods like cholesterol, saturated fat, stuff that is demonstrably proven to perpetuate heart disease in the human body if consistently overconsumed. There are also foods that are notoriously considered healthy, but if you hypothetically were to consistently overconsume those too, you will still run into things like, overconsumption of heavy metals, maybe too much of a specific nutrient. So I'm not just trying to tell you guys, oh, you should only be eating like lettuce and, cloves or something like that, because it's not going to be healthy for you. And, with certain things like spices and things that are grown in specific soils, those can have a higher risk of having things like heavy metals when they're processed into a consumable form for the public. But it's cool. You can go through like the, ORAC, like spectrum dealio, whatever, and you can find out how many antioxidants you can get from specific foods. And I think it's an incredibly useful resource, and I just wanted to tell you guys about it because I think it's actually a very useful thing if you're trying to just overall eat a healthier diet in spite of any kind of macro or micronutrient. I think in general, this is like a super useful website. Like you can find Indian gooseberries, they've got like thousands of units, but how many people get Indian gooseberries? So what's more likely for you to find? Wild blueberries that are dried. Again, they're dried, so the weight of 100 grams of wild blueberries that are dried are going to be significantly, more calorie dense. But you can find, blackberries raw, 19,000 units. Like, there's just ways you can get in so many antioxidants throughout your day, and I just feel like people brush right over it because they don't think about getting any antioxidants. They just think about, oh, I don't want to eat carbs, I don't want to eat proteins, I don't want to eat fat, I want to be skinny. I don't want to be focused on this. I want to be focused on muscle building. I'm going to focus on my protein, whatever. Or they're going to focus on like, oh, I'm going to cut out all saturated fat, all cholesterol, all, heme iron or whatever. People are just going to focus on like cutting things out instead of adding in as much as possible to their diets through getting high antioxidant rich foods in their diets. So I kind of wanted to talk about that today. I know it's kind of like a dumb video. I'm not like super well versed with like every single thing that interacts with the human body and things like free radicals and antioxidants and every wonderful thing they can do to the human body. I think that would warrant a significantly larger video, one, and two, it's been a really long time since I've looked at any of this content, but I used to look at this all the time to get more antioxidants in my diet, and I still use it now to refer to the spices that I use in my kitchen. When I make something like a curry, it's literally crawling with antioxidants, because if I use something like turmeric, which is ground turmeric, I can get 127,000 units. Now, this is another thing to consider, and that is very important, is, the antioxidants that are contained in these foods, you're not going to absorb all of them. You're not going to absorb all of the antioxidants in all of these foods. Just because something has a certain amount of antioxidant units in them doesn't mean you're going to absorb all the antioxidants. This is why people tell you, oh, well, with your turmeric, you want to be having black pepper because it helps increase the antioxidant absorption rate of the turmeric. Depending on digestion, fiber intake, other things you eat in your diet, like the amount of antioxidants you get in a day is going to be really variable. But I just figured, like, no matter what your dietary intake, no matter what you're into, and no matter if you're trying to lose weight or gain weight or eat healthy or cut out bunches of, like, macro and micronutrients, or add in a bunch of macro and micronutrients, or do whatever you need to do as an individual who's just trying to figure out their life and or function in a hyper-processed society, the number one thing I think everybody should be more focused on is getting in more antioxidants. And I really just don't see a lot of people focusing on this kind of thing, so I wanted to talk about it today. And, yeah, that's about it. So yeah, I would recommend trying to look into the antioxidant capacity of certain foods and try and add more antioxidants into your diet in general. I think that's way more like effective than a lot of the things I see people doing online to lose weight or be healthy or whatever. I'm not trying to just denounce all of these other things. I'm just saying, like, I think people should be a little more focused on antioxidants. And yeah, tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Do you focus on antioxidants, or do you just kind of brush over it and like think like, oh, I'm getting blueberries in my diet, I'm getting antioxidants or whatever? Have you guys heard about the ORAC unit measurement system? Have you guys heard about the dietary recommendations for antioxidants on a daily basis? Because personally, I never see anybody talking about it, and I think it should be more focused. So yeah, that's the video. Tell me what you think in the comments below, my people, and I hope you all enjoyed. It has been lovely. See you later.